And we are live. Hello. Thank you for being here. Real excited to have you here. And I'm excited to do live with everyone. This is my first live. So, really, really excited for this. And if you are here, if you're in the chat right now, go ahead and like the video, give a thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and check some settings and we're going to get started on the presentation. So, hang tight. This is my first time doing one of these. Looks like we got a really good turnout. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. About me, I am a yoga teacher trainer. I have been, excuse me, let me get a little bit more comfortable. I have been a yoga instructor for a number of years. I have worked with all sorts of people, professional athletes, those who have chronic pain, children, elderly. We're talking newborns and those who are nearly 100 years old. I have also worked with those who've had some of the worst injuries and some of the healthiest individuals walking the planet, literally living in green zones of the earth where there's only 3 to 5 of them, 3 to 5 green zones. I've been fortunate enough to have a great career while being pretty young and being able to do my PhD doctoral research to become a doctor in yoga. That's what I focused my research on. And now I continue to work with patients and I work with them. And almost daily, we are using yoga with the patients as I interact with them. So I have a very nice, happy ending story when it comes to yoga as employment. Now, one thing I want to keep in mind when we talk about yoga and making money, and I want to put some stamps in as we talk. So don't mind me. I'm going to be multitasking. I'm going to take my phone and use it as notes. Okay. So we had the intro. Now we're talking about making money as a yoga instructor, and this is just going to be for the later viewers. Making money as a yoga instructor for me came pretty authentically, organically, naturally by luck. It kind of fell into my lap. That's not usually how it goes to be a yoga instructor. You usually don't make money that quickly, as effortlessly as I was. In fact, when I was training to be a yoga instructor, if you've seen this on my other videos, you would have seen that while I was training to be a yoga instructor, I actually was working 3 jobs at 3 different studios and teaching on the side by myself, which was an amazing experience. But I was making decent money doing all of this. Um, it was actually pretty interesting. I also had another dilemma, and I'm going to go ahead and continue with the timestamps for those who are coming in a little bit later. So, my other dilemma was that when I was teaching, I didn't know how to price it. I was so happy to be doing yoga myself. I was so excited about the growth that was happening for me that I didn't feel good about charging a rate. And I was actually losing money on my personal trips because I wouldn't even charge enough to afford my gas. We were talking about like $3 to $5, and I wasn't even charging that for one-on-ones. Granted, I was making anywhere from $100 or more for personal sessions when I was working through some of the companies that had hired me. So all in all, I was doing okay, but I had to also realize my time, my energy, my value had to be worth a little bit more. When I wasn't charging a decent amount of money and working practically for free, I had a lot of people cancel, particularly for reasons that I would say are still important reasons, but not nearly as important as if you booked $100 private session. Let me give you an example of this. I once had someone cancel because they just decided that they wanted to watch a movie, which was fine. I don't mind that. I want to watch movies all the time. Don't get me wrong, but if they paid $100, they're more likely to show up, get a good benefit from the yoga, or get a refund, which is fine too. But the issue with canceling, or not, I mean, excuse me, the canceling wasn't a problem. The no shows, the issuing with no showing was that I already had booked out my time and my energy and my gas. So what I had to do was I had to get really proactive about having a lot of assertiveness when it came to booking, so that I could book better and have better retention of that time. Um, if I have people where 10 people are lined up and they all want to come in at 5 p.m. on a Friday, if I book one person at 5 p.m. on a Friday, that means 9 people are going to miss out on that session. So, what my job is, how do I get those 9 people not only to be part of a session, but on top of that, how can I go about making sure that person I booked at that prime hour is going to show up? So I had to come up with different sorts of policies. And I didn't really do this until I had a team that was actually working under me, assistants and trainers who were helping me on the side. Their time was valuable to me, their gas, and I didn't want them to lose out on it. I also had my own practice, my own studio at one point, and I had other instructors, multiple instructors working under me, and they wanted to book their clients at the studio at that specific time sometimes. So I would explain to my clients, hey, if I'm booking you in one of the top hours that everyone wants to be at because that aligns with work and their schedule easiest, and if you don't show up with no call, no show, unfortunately, that leaves us in a bit of turmoil, because not only does that take away an opportunity for one of my instructors to teach one of their classes, and it takes away an opportunity for them. I don't explain this to the client, but in a real level, it takes away an opportunity for my other instructors to get paid. Not only is that an issue, but the other issue at hand is that their clients might have pain, and they might be trying to do yoga with some sort of pain clients. And when they can't come in because that session's booked, it's understandable. But if the session is empty and they could have come in, but they can't, that's where it becomes a waste. So I would have these policies about, if you are going to cancel, you need to cancel ahead of time. Canceling ahead of time is probably about a 24-hour notice at least. That would usually give the opportunity for another instructor to book a client in during those prime hours, and get someone else in that might utilize the studio and maybe not miss out on an opportunity to receive some of the yoga benefits, particularly if they're in pain, because that's usually the goal we want for them, is to come out of pain. Okay, so let's see. We talked about my journey making money. We talked about the dilemma with charging money. Now, let's talk about yoga as a side hustle, and the idea of using yoga to not only make money on the side, but also grow a business. What I did was I live in the United States, and I structured a limited liability company, an LLC. And having an LLC gave me powers and privileges that I can utilize as a business owner. So when I started yoga, I knew nothing about business, absolutely nothing. I was the sole proprietor. I didn't even know what that meant. I couldn't say it for about a year. um, I had to get so much help, and I failed multiple times. But luckily for me, I kept staying resilient, and I bounced back. And I had decent mentors that really gave me some good opportunities to teach and to continue doing my craft. I became I became pretty good at teaching pretty quickly, but what really helped me was having my mentors give me the opportunity to continue teaching. I was teaching a lot. Oh, excuse me, it's late at night. I was teaching a lot, anywhere from 30 to 40 to 50 hours a week at least. And I was making good money, but still, I didn't know anything about running a business on my own. I was an employee. I didn't mind being an employee. I liked the idea of clocking in, clocking out, someone else worry about the red tape, the permits, and all the bureaucratic. There we go, bureaucratic end of it. Until both of my studios that I was working at, well, two out of the three, were shutting down for relocation. And one of my clients had reached out to me and said, "Hey, when are you going to be teaching?" I said, "You know what? We're going to be down for a while. I'm only going to be at the spine clinic. How about I refer you out to a friend that I trust that can help you?" And they're like, "No, I'll wait for you." And I was like, "Well, that's very kind of you, but it might be a while." They're like, "You're my guy. I'll wait for you." And I just thought that was the nicest thing in the world. And again, if you're still here, please like the video. Please hit the like button. Going back to the story, I thought that was the nicest thing in the world, and that really gave me the confidence to open up my own practice. So that's what I did. I started my own studio. I rented a place, a beautiful location right in the downtown area of the city I grew up in, which is a very well-to-do city, very historically beautiful, one of the best cities in America. And I was very fortunate to have these opportunities, and maybe a little naive too. The naive portion of it gave me the strength to commit and attempt some of this. So I was very fortunate to have a lot of these options. That said, when I formed my corporation, that opened my eyes to what it's like to be a business owner and the powers that are at bay. If you are going to make money as a yoga instructor, please make sure to exercise your options as a business owner. Take advantage of specific things like write offs, take advantage of specific things like investing, take advantage of business capital and business credit. These are things that can help you later on as you expand. When the pandemic happened, I had to take my business and go online. And this is something that I was hoping we'd get to. And this is going to be an important timestamp. We are at 12:44, and we are going to talk about the online world. Online teaching right now is easier than it's ever been. There's Zoom, there's interactive courses, which is what I do. I do both. There's lots of different devices you can use. I use a Rode Wireless Go lavalier microphone so I can move, walk around, and teach. I have a webcam that's in 4K. I have a great camera. These are affordable. If you can't afford some of these items of equipment, things like a basic iPhone are fantastic. They can work really well. I use an iPad sometimes. That works extremely well. These cameras are amazing. If you can't afford that, and if you can't afford beautiful lights like the lights I'm using right now, go outside and use natural light. Natural light will give you really good lighting and flattering light if you can find the right space to do it. um, Take advantage not only of these natural lights and of these recorders. If you really wanted to get something high quality, extremely high quality, or even something I'm using that's pretty high quality, but it's about 200, 300, 400, 5, 6, $700. Take advantage of some of these installment payment methods. Um, I would utilize a credit card. I would also utilize, let's see. Oh, we got some comments. I understand, Cousins World. Let's see. Um, yeah, I would utilize, and thank you for the like, the person that was in here liking. Thank you for the comments. I really appreciate that, the interaction. What I would utilize is these installment payment opportunities. Klarna is a great one. I've used Klarna before. I actually have it on my site. If you want to take yoga teacher training at my site, solyogacourses.com, that is in the description, solyogacourses.com. Go ahead, please, and we will give you an option to pay with Klarna installments. It doesn't affect me in any way. And it gives you an opportunity without interest to make those payments on a payment plan. So that's something I would recommend for you to utilize. And one thing I really appreciate about a payment plan like Klarna is that it gives you not only an opportunity to pay, but it helps the merchant because the merchant gets paid up front. So if you are teaching and you want to offer courses or some sort of teachings to your clients in a package and you wanted to get paid up front, you use Klarna. It takes away the awkward conversation. And if they for some reason can't pay, that's not a concern of you. You've gotten paid up front. It doesn't interact with your relationship at all. They would take that up with Klarna. Now, the only thing about Klarna that where there is a little bit of suffer would be the fact that when you're using Klarna, the the issue behind that is it's not going to help your credit per se. A lot of times, if you use a credit card, utilizing that credit card will help your credit, but using Klarna is not necessarily going to help your credit. But is a great opportunity if you are struggling to make the payments, or you need a high quality equipment like one of the cameras I use or microphones I use. This microphone I'm using actually is was $50 on Amazon. It's, I believe, called Finite. It's a great microphone. It's got a good pickup. I use also a Blue Yeti with a Halo Ashton filter around it, and that blocks out everything, all background noise, all hiss, hum. It does a great job. If I'm doing any sort of voiceovers for my videos for my students, I utilize that. All this took a little bit of money, but for the most part, this is really high quality equipment. I believe the Ashton Halo, which is this big loop around the microphone that gets the sound to reflect. I hear Drake, the music artist, he actually uses that. So I think you can really have a great time with some of these ideas and pieces of equipment to start making some money right away as a yoga instructor. Um, One thing you're gonna thank you again for the likes, and I appreciate all the comments. You guys keep chiming in. If you have a question, please feel free to ask me a question. That's what I usually like to do is have a good community opportunity in here. I know a lot of times I'm with patients or I'm teaching my students, so I'm glad that we can continue on. I know we were going to go for 15 minutes. I hope it's okay that we run over just a little bit. Okay. Um, let's talk a little bit about the online portion of teaching yoga. Teaching online with Zoom is free. I do have a pro membership, which I got on sale for $100, and that gave me some great opportunities for recording. But you can actually do a really great job doing one-on-ones for free on Zoom. You don't need a whole lot of space. You just need to figure out what you're teaching and really get down to polishing whatever that is. If it's the sun salutations, really work on it, reflect on it, and maybe even build up, maybe even teach for free for a little bit. Go to a local area, go to a library. I used to teach at the local library for a couple years, and I would teach the kids, and they loved it, and the parents loved it. They got a little bit of a break and vacation. It was a great experience. So I highly recommend getting involved in teaching as much as you can for as long as you can, and let that be something that can really mold you to be a better business owner and instructor. As you teach more, people will reach out to you. They will try to find ways to interact with you. Let me say hi in the chat. And you will have great opportunities to form relationships. And these relationships, they'll contact you again. In my history of teaching yoga, I've seen so many people come back to me and contact me to work with them, work with their family members or kids, to send them outlines, to send them PowerPoints, and they are more than willing to pay. I was hired as independent contractors, work with medical students, to work with business owners, to work at hotels and teach 60 to 80 people for meetings or corporations. There's a lot of great opportunity there. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you get involved in some sort of teaching, um, whether that's free monetarily. Um, your goal is to make money as an instructor. You want to get good at making money best you can, but ideally you want to get a transaction. Getting a transaction could be in the form of collecting an email, collecting a phone number. If you get a transaction, chances are you are more likely than not over time to court them, just like you were going on a date with someone. You met someone, you some say you meet someone, you're in a store or a library, you say something, they say something, someone makes a joke or chuckles, someone says something again, someone says something again. Um, Comment back and forth a couple times. You find a common interest in something. Usually, when I would meet people, guys, girls, as friends, I would say, "Hey, I'm going to go to this and that down the street or something on this time. Why don't you come? My friends are going to be there. You might have fun. You seem like a pretty cool person. Why don't you hang out with us?" They're like, "Oh yeah, cool." And that's usually how I would form friends. Oh, very cool that your mom's a teacher. Fantastic. Yeah, that's that's always important to have teachers in the family. They usually help out with a lot of different skills and patience. So let me get back to the idea of networking. Meeting people and networking and building off of that interaction when you meet people is great, because then you can you can really start to form a rapport with them. And what I mean by rapport is a bond. That's what happens when we collect the emails and we collect the phone numbers, and we send out little text messages. We don't want to waste their time. We want to be very cautious with their time and understanding. We want to be very open-minded to being kind-hearted with their time, and not take advantage or even hassle them. But we do want to drop little, "Hey, how are you? We got this going on. Hope you're having a good day." Leave it be. "Hey, we got this free thing going on. Check this out. It's a guide of the top poses of 2022. Look at this." Something simple, really easy for them to look at. Maybe even just like a page. Something like that can really help them start reading your newsletter, start responding to your messages, or even just engaging, getting likes and whatnot. You just give out some of your golden gems best you can. Then, if you have something that you want to launch, a product, that's when you start courting. Maybe for over 2 weeks. Hey, in a couple weeks, we're going to be dropping something really good. It's got to do with the sun salutations. We want you to go ahead and take a look at this and then let it go. A couple days later, hey, we were talking about the new product launching in about 10 days. It's going to be the sun salutations. If you want to get in early, we got an early bird discount, but we got a webinar coming about it in a week. So sign up for it for free in 2 more days. Hey, the webinar is kicking in about 4 days. This is going to give you the breakdown of everything going on with this project. This is going to be big. If you want to get in now, you can get at the early bird discount, but otherwise, sign up for the webinar. It's free. Then, a couple days, hey, webinar's coming in tomorrow. We're filling up. We would love to have you. Why don't you go ahead and sign up and get in so that you can have an opportunity to be a part of some of these bonuses or whatnot. Go ahead and then let that grow. Then, as you get closer, give the webinar, offer something, give a lot of stuff away, give a lot of tools away, and then have your product in the wings waiting for them. That's how you do a launch. You do a pre launch where you discuss what you want to sell to them, what you want to give to them. And you always want to make sure when you're doing this, please keep this in mind. And again, thank you, everyone. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the comments. Um, Putting in something. You always want to make sure that you're doing your best to offer your best to your, we're just putting another timestamp, offer your best to your clients. Okay. So we discussed the launch, and now we're going to be moving in a little bit more into deeper into the business side, but the product side of it. And we're going to readjust the timestamp for those coming in late. Okay, the product. As you have your products, you want to make sure that when you do drop your product that it's very refined to the best of your ability. Just do your best. That's all we can really ask of you, is to do the best of your ability. If it's not a good product, it won't sell that great. Learn from it. And the best tip I can give you, the best secret I can give you, is watch those who've done it before. Try not to reinvent the wheel. Try to watch those who've done it before and take notes. And if you have an opportunity, ask questions. Learn from their mistakes. A lot of times they give you key advice that can really help you out. So learn from their mistakes and watch what they have done before, and they can usually lead you in a direction of success. I've surrounded myself with very successful people. I started looking around, and my inner circle was really successful. And I said, wow, here I am. And I'm not a slump myself with a doctorate degree, but at the same token, I'm watching these people who have really become very successful business owners, and they're teaching me the ropes of how to run a business, and they're just telling me little gems left and right. And the pride in me, the ego, I continue at times. I'm better now, but in the past, I would continue at times to continue to do it the way that I thought I should do it, which is not a problem. You want to have that drive, and you want to have the energy and the passion to believe in yourself and the confidence to do things your way. But there's something to be said for following a lead of someone that's done something. It's best to not reinvent the wheel. That is a true, very true statement. So, what I recommend, and I highly, highly, highly recommend this, if you have the opportunity to get mentors, whether that's me or another successful business owner, yoga or not, watch what they're doing, take notes, learn from their mistakes, ask them about their mistakes, ask them about their successes. This is going to be probably the number one way to speed up your success. If you do it like this, you can significantly speed up your success. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you take the time to really, really, really allow yourself, and I really stress this, allow yourself to learn, to be open to learning. If you can do that, you have a great chance of being successful in the business world and making money. Um, but you have to come to terms with, you don't know everything, and that's okay. You're not expected to, but that information is out there. It's been put together by very smart and good men and women. Let them feed you the tools. Let them make the blueprint for you. And that will be probably the biggest key to making money online. I have a program already set on solyogacourses.com. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. And this will teach you the ropes on how to make money online. I actually have a course that's ready to go. You can click on it and it will take you there. It's $150. If you get in touch with me, I can give you a half off discount. Um, this will teach you how to do the business side of yoga. The course itself is yoga business, and this is an interactive course. You can click on it. There's a quiz, there's flashcards, there's animation. It's fun. It's a great way for you to learn step by step, and then also reach out to me and have me in your back pocket, someone who's done it, someone who's actually on YouTube doing it, who's done it in the field, worked with thousands of clients, patients, and different yoga instructors over the course of multiple years, and is a yoga teacher under Yoga Alliance that can certify students at the highest level in the world. So you have me you can talk to if you need help, if need be. So I highly recommend you take a look at that. That's not the only thing in the world, though. My best option for you, especially if money is tight and you really need help, is to reach out to those you've seen do it who have been successful. If it's your parents, reach out to your parents. If it's a friend, reach out to them. If it's a stranger, send them an email. If you're going to send someone an email, though, I highly recommend you read and study their work, what they've done, know a little bit about their business, know something about it. Please don't just go and ask them and expect them to give you some sort of information or feedback for nothing. A lot of them will, for the goodness out of the goodness of their heart. This is something I would do, but I appreciate it when someone has says, "Hey, I've read your profile. I've checked out your website. I've I've read your blog. I've studied some of your free stuff. I really appreciate it. I would like to learn a little bit more information about this, and this. And I believe I could really benefit from that if you give me an opportunity. And more often than not, I will, if unless I'm busy and unless it's not put together at all, and it's just someone expecting me to give them my very, very rare free time, then I will usually try my hardest to get back to them, because even though I went through a doctorate program to become a research scientist and work with patients, and I have a very busy schedule, at the end of the day, I'm still a teacher. And most business owners were learners. And as they became successful, they become teachers. And as teachers, we want to continue to help and regrow in the same fashion. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. I do want to discuss one more topic about making money, and we're going to timestamp this right here at 25, and that is saving. Okay, so one of the main things about making money as a yoga instructor that is probably one of the coolest things is it's low overhead. You don't have to usually pay for a lot. Yoga doesn't require a whole lot of things. Yoga requires quite a bit of props, but you can get away by just using a block. You can get away with using nothing if you're doing it and teaching it the right way. Excuse me, using props is the right way, but you can get away with teaching restorative yoga the right way as well without many props. You just have to be strategic about this. So, what I am trying to say is keeping a low overhead, low cost is one of the smartest ways to continue to make profit teaching yoga. If you're going to rent out a big studio, please keep in mind what your costs are going to be. Do you pay for utilities and electricity? How much is rent? How much are you bringing in? Try to keep your head straight with how much you're making versus how much you're spending. And always try to be making more than you're spending, and with the option of saving. If you can do this, you're in a good realm to make money. One thing that helped me out was aligning with matchmaking institutions that were third party. You can run into some of these that can match you with clients. If you can find something like that and you can put in the time to make a decent profile, a lot of times they can find you clients. And if you have talent as a teacher and instructor, which you can develop, you have an opportunity to really make some money and start getting your feet wet. As you get more confident, develop things that can really help you out with SEO, search engine optimization, like a website. Maybe make some sort of Facebook page or social media page for what you're doing and offering, so people can look you up. They can call you, they can ask you questions, and you can put information about your products and also just stay in their lives, have that rapport that we were talking about earlier. Post videos, post pictures, post information, yoga sutras, post philosophical, I can't say the word, philosophy styled sayings that can be helpful for some of these individuals. If you can commit to some of this and do these things, you have a really good opportunity of being successful as a business owner, at least in the supplemental income realm. You may not make big money, not yet, but you can at least make some side money, and that's a great start. To get closer to making big money, I believe you're going to have to really sit down and start learning how a business works. You're going to need to get structured. If you're in America, that would be forming an LLC or an S corporation, C corporation. If you're going to stay sole proprietor, that's fine too, but you need to understand that you're not going to have all of the corporation benefits as if you were corporated. If you get corporated, I understand there is a cost to that and fees, but because of the idea of write-offs and whatnot, you should be fine with those sorts of ideas. Excuse me, the fees and whatnot. You should be able to counteract them, and you should actually benefit more. The food, the time, the website, the gas, the Zoom sessions you're paying for, all that can be written off, particularly if you are in America. You can write off the equipment you buy. You can write off the online course platform for where you teach your courses. You can write off the pro Zoom. All that can be very helpful for you. So you can upgrade, buy your cameras, your microphones, buy your Laviator microphones, and you can actually write some of those spendings off, if not all of them. So you're going to want to contact your CPA, a good accountant, and really talk with them about your options and your powers, because you will have access to quite a bit of power that you can utilize in Wave once you decide to get incorporated. So I highly, highly recommend going that option if you can. Um, a little bit more since we still have people in the room, which is fantastic. I want to thank you for being here this late at night. We're gonna talk about one more thing, and that is scaling the business. So we're gonna timestamp this at 36:30. Now, scaling, what we mean by scaling the business is growing the business. And this is one of the harder concepts to understand, but it actually is a really cool and great way to develop as a business owner. What you're doing when you're scaling your business is you're trying to grow from, how do I put this? From hmm, a caterpillar, a caterpillar to a butterfly. And what you want to do is you want to increase your revenue and expand. And you want to do this without burning yourself out and without bankrupting yourself, without overextending yourself, without grabbing too much inventory where you can't get rid of it. Scaling your business is a science and it can be really tricky. Luckily for us as yoga instructors, there's not a lot of overhead. We don't have to worry so much about a particular product. With what we do usually, we don't have to worry about spending on scaling on t-shirts or merchandise or whatnot. We just really need to focus on getting more clients. For us, the way we usually make more money is we raise our prices and we get more clients. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do this, and you're going to want to look at a couple of different ways before you scale your business. If you're going to scale your business and grow your business and raise your prices, that's fine. But you want to keep two things in mind. Number one, what can your base afford? And number two, are you offering something that would be justified in you increasing your rates? If you're going to increase your rates, you want to make sure that it's a justified reason so that you could continue to have your clients, and the keyword is continue, to be a part of your practice. Another thing you want to keep in mind when it comes to scaling is um, not just raising your prices, but you're going to need to get more clients. So what I would do if I was you is I would really focus on two things: SEO, search engine optimization. Do things like posting more on Instagram, asking people. On top of that, you're going to be asking people for referrals, and that's the second thing. You're going to be asking for reviews, testimonials. Like, I'm asking you to like the video. If everyone in here liked the video, this actually makes this video go a little bit more viral, it gives me a little bit more interactive ability, and it helps scale my business. So, what you want to do is get more comfortable asking for testimonials, asking for reviews, asking for shares, and doing the same thing, sharing stuff with your clientele, giving them more. You don't want to burn out though. So, you want to keep an eye on how much that is um, taking from you. If it's depleting you, then it's not worth it. But you want to keep an eye on what you can realistically achieve. As you scale, though, at some point it will deplete you. So, what you're going to have to do at that point is you're going to have to get some assistance or hire someone to help you out so that you can continue to grow your business, but also not have to be in 4 or 5 places at once. From there, you've really begun to scale your business to the next level. At that point, usually you're making a decent amount of money. That might be something down the line where at that point you almost already know intuitively what to do, and you probably have help and people in your ear giving you advice on how to perform actions like that. But the goal on that point and from that side of scaling your business is to yep, sorry, the goal is to um number one, figure out how to raise your prices without raising them too high, and keeping in mind what are you offering to justify raising them. And number two, how do you attract more clients? If you ask yourself right now, and if you're here, if you are a business owner, or if you ever thought about being a business owner, ask yourself right now, if I were to grow my business, whatever skill I have, whether it's yoga, whether it's making pizza, whether it's eating donuts, whatever your skill is, ask yourself, if I were to charge more money for what I do, can I justify it? Do I have the right reasons? Do I know off the top of my head why I'm charging more money? And does that make sense? One of the ways you're going to be able to tell if that makes sense is you're going to look at the market, look at your direct competition, look at those who are performing well in your area, or even if your area is online, it's global, look at those who are performing well, teaching what you're teaching, the kind of style and the stuff you're teaching, and see what they're charging. If you're charging $300 for an hour and they're doing the exact same thing and they're charging $100 for an hour, why are you now charging $300 an hour? Do you have an explanation? Now, if they're charging $500 an hour and you're charging $300 an hour, why aren't you charging $500 an hour? Do you have an explanation? So you're going to look at the market. What is the market doing? Because that's going to help you dictate what you're going to do to make your prices. If everyone's charging $500 an hour and you're charging $300 an hour, you should probably figure out why your prices are so low. Because more often than not, you'll be surprised. A lot of clients will be concerned. They'll be justifiably concerned why you're not as expensive as you should be. Here I was making well over $100 an hour, and for some clients, I was only charging $5 an hour, and they were so concerned about that. They thought maybe I wasn't a good teacher. So I had once I raised my prices, they were treating me with the level of trust that my other students who are paying full price for treating me with at my my studios. When I was teaching on my own, I was giving all my private individuals a haircut. I was giving them a discount because I had a hard time charging money. But once I got through that barrier and realized I need to charge money, I need to make a living doing this, or else I can't teach. Um, and started charging what I was worth, I never had any doubts in my ability. I never had any cancels that were last minute. I never had any sort of flaking. Now, I did have that before I charged a good rate. So I had to look at what the market was charging. And what I ended up doing is I actually charged a little bit more. The reason I charged more was because of my experience, my skill level as a teacher, with my credentials, and also I had at the time I was becoming an in demand in my area yoga instructor, so I had the ability to charge a little bit more, and that made sense to my clients. It made sense why my prices were what they were. If they were when they were lower, it didn't make sense to them and it worried them. So You need to see what the market's going, and don't be afraid to raise your prices. You just have to have a justification why your prices are a little bit higher. I always offer a lot when I would teach my classes. A lot of times I would always try to leave them with extra things, and hopefully leave them wanting more. I always try to leave them where they felt like they cheated me, where they felt like they got more from me than I gave from them. Like they felt like they owed me an extra $10. That's the feeling I always want to leave with my clients so that they can always feel and grow and interact with the idea that they are, excuse me, just double checking everything. They can interact with the feeling of the atmosphere, and understand that they're getting what they're getting a value for their time and for their money. They're interacting with that feeling that they're not being they're not wasting their time and their energy, for lack of a better word. Excuse me, that really was a lack of a better word. Okay. So we are getting towards the end. I want to thank you all for being here. This has been fantastic. This is my first live stream on YouTube, at least. I've done other live streams in the past. This is the first one on this channel. I really had a great time. Please continue to subscribe to the channel, subscribe, like, comment, and hit the notification bell so you can get more information. I'm going to be trying to provide a lot of financial information. I have a wealth of information about the financial side. I made a lot of mistakes and I want to tell you all of them. So please continue to watch the videos, and also head over to solyogacourses.com. If you have the means right now, go ahead and pick up Yoga Business if you want to learn more about the financial side of yoga. If you can't afford it, I have a payment plan through Klarna, which you can pay in 4 installments. They can make it nice and affordable for you, and you can pay it over 8 weeks. And again, once you make the payment, I get my portion up front, so we never have to discuss payment again. Whatever happens after that, it's none of my business. I can just work with you on understanding the yoga side of business. If you get into this profession, please understand that making money in yoga is extremely difficult, but it's very, very possible. So please be optimistic, but know what you're getting yourself into. Whenever I train my students, I always let them know ahead of time, if you want to be a yoga teacher trainer, please understand that this is really good for supplemental income, but as a career, it can be very challenging. Very few can make this a career, especially early, but it's very possible. So please keep that in mind, and I think you'll be very successful. Thank you for being here. I'm wishing you all very well, and I can't wait to. What is this button right here? Is this a share button? I'm at this point messing with buttons. I can't wait to talk with you more about things in the future. So take care, and we'll see you next time.